So far, we have been identifying stressful thoughts. If you remember, there are two parts to doing the work: identifying stressful thoughts and then questioning stressful thoughts. And so far, by writing a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, we have been focusing on the first part of the work, which is identifying stressful thoughts. And we've identified quite a few stressful thoughts. A Judge Your Neighbor worksheet has 6 lines, and on each line there may be multiple sentences. So we've collected quite a number of stressful thoughts from one situation. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take those thoughts one by one, and we're going to put them up against the 4 questions and turnarounds of the work. So now we're going to question the stressful thoughts that we wrote down. And you can be as thorough or as non-thorough as you like when you're working through a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. There might be 10 or 15 statements on the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, and you could question each one of those statements one by one with all 4 questions and turnarounds, and I often do that. And you can be less thorough, sometimes just questioning a few statements. We're going to do a kind of middle-of-the-road approach. We'll take at least one statement from each line, and we'll question that. So it's going to take us, since we're going slowly, it's going to take us, we're going to question one statement per week, and it's going to take us probably a month or two to at least 6 weeks to work through our first Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. This is the course for busy people, so we're just going very slowly and very easily. Okay, so if you remember, there are corresponding forms for identifying stressful thoughts. That's the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet. And then questioning stressful thoughts. That's the One Belief at a Time worksheet. And so once you write a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, then you'll take each line and question it using a One Belief at a Time worksheet. So let's focus now on the One Belief at a Time worksheet. This worksheet is designed for doing the work in written form when you're just writing with a pen or a pencil. We'll be using templates in the forum so you can actually type your work there, but it's the same idea. First of all, you write the actual statement. So you'd go to your Judge Your Neighbor worksheet and you'd copy the statement that you wrote there. So if line 1 is, I am angry with him because he lied to me, then you would question the part just after because, where he lied to me. You would take that statement, he lied to me, leave off the I am angry with him because, that part just sets it up. So then you take the part, he lied to me, and you bring it over to the One Belief at a Time worksheet, write it down, he lied to me, and then go through the 4 questions and turnarounds on these 2 pages. And like I said, we'll have a template for doing this in the forum. So once you have your statement clearly identified and you've written it down, then the 4 questions are very straightforward, but they're also very meditative, and they take some contemplation. So the first question will be, is it true? And so, he lied to me, is it true? Take your time and really see if that's true or not. And your mind will want to come up with all kinds of reasons and pros and cons, and there may be a huge debate going on inside. But as you witness that debate happen, see if you can just let it run its course, be patient with it, and allow it to come down to best answer you can come up with, yes or a no. So the answer for questions 1 and 2 is just one syllable, yes or no. And this forces the mind to land on one or the other. And this is an exercise in meditation in and of itself. So resist the urge to just say, oh, I don't know, and oh, it's because of this and this and this and this, and kind of get lost in the story. Instead, just ask the question, is it true? And let it settle in, and consider all the options, consider all the things you need to consider, but in the end, come up with a final verdict of yes or no. And then if the answer is yes for line number 1, then answer line number 2, Again, can you absolutely know it's true? Yes or no. If your answer to is it true in line 1 is no, then you can skip line 2. Can you absolutely know it's true? And also keep in mind that yes and no are equal. You're just looking for your truth here. So don't think that no is the right answer. Be there and witness what is coming up as true for you. If it seems like that it is true, he did lie to me, then put yes. Just say yes. And then can you absolutely know it's true? Look again and see what you find. So that's how you take these questions in a meditative way. And then question 3, how do you react? What happens when you believe that thought? And this is a chance to look at all the repercussions, all the emotional and physical and behavioral reactions that happen when you're under the influence of a particular thought. So when I'm believing he lied to me, I become angry, I become animated, I become destructive, I may attack the other person, I may talk behind their back, I may do all kinds of things. I may feel emotions in my body, in my chest, anywhere. I may see images of past times when he's lied to me, and just the whole story just comes up. So this is what I mean by reactions. How do I react when I believe in this situation that he lied to me? Whole thing. And so the idea in question 3 is just go in as a reporter. Just go in and report the news. So how do I react? Okay, I put myself back there. How did I react? Oh my gosh, I blew up. I became angry. I blah, blah, blah. So fill in all those reactions, just like you're reporting the news, in line number 3. And then line number 4 is a very radical question. The question is, who would you be without the thought? So in the same situation where he lied to me, who would you be without the thought that he lied to me? It's radical. It takes some real contemplation. And just notice how much the thought brings up all those reactions. And if that thought wasn't there, what would be the difference? Who would you be in that same situation? So this is a chance to really consider kind of the possibility of what it would be like. It doesn't mean that you don't believe he didn't. It doesn't mean you don't believe that he didn't lie to you anymore. Maybe you still believe he did lie to you. But who would you be? It's hypothetical. Who would you be? And go back and see, who would I be in that moment without the story that he's lying to me, especially again, or that it's such a huge deal. And then you start to find who you would be in that situation, and then just report how you react, how you would act differently, how you would be differently, how would you feel differently, like that. And then the last part of the work is the turnarounds, and there are a number of different turnarounds. The standard ones are to the self, to the other, and to the opposite. And so you just look for different opposites to your statement and see if you can find these opposites. For example, I lied to myself is a turnaround to the self. Or I lied to him is a turnaround also. Or he didn't lie to me is another turnaround. So with each of these turnarounds, take some time and see if you can find a few examples of how that turnaround could be as true or maybe even truer than the actual original statement. And this is what we call finding examples for the turnarounds. When I'm looking at a turnaround, I usually like to look for 2 or 3 examples to see if I can substantiate the turnaround, see if there's any truth on that side. It's kind of like playing devil's advocate with yourself. Okay, let's consider, could the opposite be true here? And then if it is, let's just see, is there any genuine support for the idea that the opposite is true? And sitting in these turnarounds can really open your mind and really help you find some very unusual perspectives on the same situation. So that's what we mean by turning the statements around and then finding examples of those turnarounds. Okay, so that's the one belief at a time worksheet. you'll be using these same basic questions when you're filling in your work on the forum. You won't need to have a copy of this one belief printed out, but it's the same piece here. It's the same work. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing now, is going into questioning these stressful thoughts, one after the other, and we're going to take our time with it, and I'll be showing you different things, different details as we go through the weeks here together. But now is the time to start to open your mind to the other side of the story. We've gotten the stressful thoughts out. We wrote our Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, and now is the time to start questioning, really, is it true? All these things that I'm feeling and believing and thinking, could it be that there's another side to the story?